What is up, guys? Mcdoubles back again with a brand new video. Today we're going to be checking out Thunder Slam. Brand new random enchant on League 3. Crazy damage and just a load of fun to play. And we're going to be PvPing with it, believe it or not, at max. Doing some BGs. But anyway, I don't want to give too much of a spoiler, but I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's jump right in. So for the last 2 days, I've been trying to create a Thunder Slam PvP build. Thunder Slam is one of the most hyped random enchants that have come out with League 3, and that's because of its power level. We're seeing people tank with it. We're seeing people DPS with it and do mythics with it. I want to do some PvP with it, though. Now, if you don't know what Thunder Slam is, it's actually an interesting enchant that combines the Shaman and Warrior classes. It says, dealing damage with Execute or Thunderclap reduces the cast time of your next Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning by 100%, so like a Maelstrom weapon proc right off the bat. Now, Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning grant you Storm Blade, allowing you to cast Thunder Slam or Lightning Blade. You can store up to 3 charges. The way this works is you have to choose the Slam ability and choose the Storm Strike ability, and both of these abilities will change into either Lightning Blade or into Thunder Slam. So Slam into Thunder Slam and Storm Strike into Lightning Blade. Dealing damage with Lightning Blade or Thunder Slam reduces the cooldown on Thunderclap by 3 seconds and increases your spell damage by up to 30% of your melee attack power, which is obviously huge. The first one is Thunder Slam itself. All of this, by the way, requires a two-handed weapon, so this is certainly a two-handed weapon spec. Now, this does 48% of your main hand's weapon damage and an additional 252 to up to 5 targets in a 10-yard frontal cone. This is really fascinating. It's actually a huge amount of damage. It doesn't seem that far off from the other ability you get all the way over here in the Shaman tree, Lightning Blade. This instantly attacks somebody for 380% of your main hand's weapon damage. That is ridiculous for a two-handed weapon, by the way, but it also does 208 if that wasn't enough already. On top of that, it applies the Storm Strike effect, allowing you to do 20% more nature damage from spells and abilities, and that's pretty good as well. So the idea was to just slam people, right, in PvP, but also possibly have a bunch of cleave and AoE so that, you know, in tight fights, you can do a lot of damage in that regard as well. I've gone for a pretty tanky Juggernaut build. That's what I basically came up with. If you're going to play melee right now, you can't really be squishy unless you have some kind of one-shot gimmick. I've seen a lot of it in 2v2 and 1v1 arena. There are definitely builds out there, both melee and ranged, where they can insta-gib you. So how do you combat crazy amounts of damage in PvP when you're a melee character? Well, it's very simple, my friends. You take as many defensive cooldowns as you can possibly fit with the new limitations over here. So what did I take? First of all, as you can see down here with my abilities, I went for the following defensive cooldowns. I've got, and I'm going to include this, Avatar, right? It's more damage, but it's also less damage. It makes you immune to immobilizing effects as well, which is pretty nice. We also have the Divine Protection. I don't love taking these things, by the way, but I do feel like they are essential for most melee builds, especially in BGs, where you're just going to get slaughtered from people at range. So 50% less damage taken for 6 seconds. That's huge. Evasion, that's a really cheap defensive cooldown. 50% chance to dodge something entirely. That's quite nice. But of course, if you get stunned, it goes away, so don't get stunned during it. And then Combat Readiness, which we've talked about in a previous video, but for PvP, it's pretty interesting. It's up to 25% reduction in damage taken. It lasts 20 seconds. So that's a pretty decent one for longer fights as well. Now, I've also gone into nothing but AP modifiers. So I've got the Greater Blessing of Might, True Shot Aura, Rock Biter Weapon. I took the Seal of Command because it's surprisingly cheap for a seal. I believe it's the only seal that only costs 1 of the blue rare slots, not 2. So that makes it very interesting to just kind of sneak it in. Now, you do have to pay a talent point for it. That's perhaps why, but sometimes that's more feasible than not. And then we also have the Aspect of the Beast for 5% more attack power, just like the True Shot Aura. So I'm really doubling down. We've also got the Lightning Shield, which will be pivotal for this build. And I want to do, in PvP at least, Chain Lightning more often than not. But sometimes, due to cooldowns, you'll throw out the Lightning Bolt as well. I've also memed it up a bit. I've got Vanish, which does does put you into regular stealth, by the way, as well for 30 seconds. That's been interesting, although I don't know how good it is. There's just not a lot of things to take at a certain point. And I also just went for the Shockwave. I went for Shockwave over something like Hammer of Justice because I did want to actually put in work with this talent right here, Thunderstruck. I increased the stun duration by 1.5 seconds on the Shockwave and get 30% more damage with both T-Clap and Shockwave, so that's pretty big. But I've also got the Demonic Leap, which I think is a nice little twofer, right, in one ability because you can use it once and then use it again. So it's a double jump. Okay, it's on a 50-second cooldown, but that's surprisingly low for the double jump, and it allows you to, as I've seen, unfortunately, escape death in many situations where you don't deserve to escape death. So, for example, you get knocked off a cliff, you get knocked off Lumber Mill or EOTS, a lot of the times you can Demonic Leap right back to safety. But that is the general strategy with this build in terms of abilities, right? We're going to go in there, we're going to charge, we're going to spam Thunderclap, by the way. This is a Thunderclap spammer. You can see 60% more damage with a two-handed weapon equipped. Really hard into improving Thunderclap's damage and improving our AP in general. Some warrior talents as well. Wrecking Crew is 15% more Thunderclap damage, and I just get the buff if I crit at all. 6% more physical and 4% more from the Blood Frenzy and the two-handed weapon spec combo. And the double down on that, I've also gone into two-handed weapon spec in the Retry Tree for 3% more physical damage and 3% more crit. That's good as well because I'm also getting, with this new effect on here, 15% more crit with Seal of Command, something a lot of people probably wouldn't have thought of, and this only happens if I have a two-handed melee weapon equipped. So that's a quick rundown. I'll put this spec most likely in my Discord, some iteration of it that we figure out by the end of the video, if not this exact one. Fully buffed right now, 780 bonus damage as a hybrid and 1300, let's just say, AP, and I'm not using the craziest gear. I'm not PvP power capped. That is a huge detriment. I am using a Mythic the Judge's Gavel because it's the highest weapon I could get that didn't come off the auction house in terms of raw damage and AP on it, and it has a weird chance on hit to stun for 3 seconds, and sometimes it goes off and sometimes it's super unfair, and that's really sick. So anyway, what I want to do, guys, is not just do some PvE, but we're going to do PvP obviously with this build as well. I did say I wanted to make a PvP build, but I do want to see how much damage we can do in PvE, so at some point we'll do that as well, like I said. But for now, let's jump into some BGs and see how we do. So I've noticed one of my favorite things about playing this build is when I jump in the air and clap their cheeks from the sky. You know, you go in, you boom, in the air. You know, and I don't know why, but I realize every time I've ever used T-Clap, even in the base game, right, I've always jumped in the air when I used it. And yeah, it's not changing in Ascension, that's for sure. I won't lie, guys, there are some builds right now that are overtuned, right, and they're mostly caster builds, and that's to be expected. But I am surprised by the fact, and I think a lot of people are, and that's why all these BGs tend to be full, that we can actually jump into a BG on what is basically a free pick server and still compete. Luckily, my build is basically just spamming T-Clap, although if I'm honest with you, sometimes I wish Thunder Slam was like Rage and then Lightning Blade was mana instead of both of them being mana. It would make sense anyway because Slam's a warrior ability, but it's fine. I'm not calling for a change or anything like that. I just think it's an interesting thing to keep in mind. One of the things I've noticed from BGs as well, guys, is that you actually get a ridiculous amount of rewards for doing it, and I'm not talking just gear you can use, although that is a big plus, and most of the stuff I have on actually did come from random caches at the end of a BG, not from me actually spending my honor on stuff, which is nice because look, I can save my honor finally. The best part about it is that all this stuff tends to cost about 1 gold. You can see like that helmet's 2, that pair of oh, actually both of these necklaces are 2, pair of boots 1. So you could just 3 gold, 4 basically for this eagle horn longbow. You just keep getting stuff like this and you vendor it and make bank. This is a free win, I think, but I'm gonna skip the battle and just go back cap gold mines. Oh, they have multiple people defending it. Oh geez. Look at that, 628. That's not even my best. My best crits are Thunderclap crits, definitely. But look at that, Demonic Leap right over the river, right on top of this guy into a 622. No crit, by the way, 622. Thunderclap. This is a Thunder Slam, 368. That's a Thunderclap, 529. Without, I guess, any buffs or anything. Maybe he had more armor than the other guy. Doesn't really matter. I don't think many people expect to hit that hard on what is now a 4-second, not a 6-second. I've got some random enchant or something. A 4-second Thunderclap. So Wild Willy right here. Boom. 446. That guy has armor. Definitely. But look, I've already got the Thunderclap again, and it's spamming the Crackling Thunder. I've actually got random enchants that allow it to do extra damage based on my AP. 550 crit, which is really low, but that's my Lightning Blade for you. Oh, I just got a Riptide on me. Do we have a healer? That's basically the requirement to play melee, you know? Not playing a stealth melee? Well, you better have a pocket healer. All right, let's just get in there. Just start doing AoE. I'm stunned right off the bat. I'm gonna pop the evasion. And I'm just gonna AoE. Look at this. I've got the avatar, by the way. That's a... Oh, I thought that was a double shockwave. Look at the 1,000 crit, though, on the avatar with the thunderclap. And that guy has armor. I'm pretty confident. I think that's mail that he's wearing, but I'm not too sure. He's definitely taking less damage than a lot of people from my claps. But I am now, so it's kind of like, can I fit... How am I missing? How? What is my hit chance right now? Oh, it's 14. I'm maxed out for expertise. Might as well counterspell that. So it's nice to have Vanish, though. Like, I can get rid of the Hunter's Mark. I can attempt to reset. Oh my god, the perma CC, dude. Every second. Death Coil, a stun, a fear. And I have no mana. I really should probably just take the improved Storm Strike, right? Yeah, their entire team's on me. I'm dead. I'm just gonna jump away and die in midair. Yeah, exactly as I predicted it to be. But I do have to fix the mana problems, mostly because sometimes I live a lot longer than I ever expected to live. But it's very difficult. You just don't have enough slots for everything. All right, fighting. Oh, Jesus. Really? Fighting for Blacksmith. Let's get the lightning shield up, by the way. Can I get a charge off? Okay, that starts the T-clap spam. There we go. There we go. AoE. Thunder Slam. Can I get you with the lightning bolt? Oh, he almost died. I got that guy, though. Okay, that went pretty well. I'm almost dead, but, like, if your idea is to just get into a BG and actually have a chance right off the bat, I think you've picked a pretty good build if you go Thunder Slam. I think there are still people out there that are just addicted to meta building everything, and so they have builds that are ridiculous, but I do think Ascension will probably touch some of the absolutely crazy outliers. Look at this, I'm actually still alive! I popped every defensive cooldown I had. 780 crit. Thunderclap 551, no crit. He's dead. Let's jump this way. Shoot a chain lightning out and just go in. Invincibear, man. He just takes no damage. 12,000 health. And he knows it, too. This is where he sits. Every single one of these I do with that guy. He's always at gold mine, and he's unkillable if you don't bring 5 people. But this is what I'm talking about, guys. Battleground spoils. I select agility and look at the gear. Like, that is easily 10 gold of just vendorable stuff. Well, I got kind of low rolls, more like 8 gold, but it's not bad, you know, as like a free reward. And look, sometimes you get stuff that's worth using. Knight Lieutenants, Lamellar, Sabatons. Same thing for these chain leggings right here, which is pretty nice. So I'm telling you, that's how I'm getting my gear. That is nice. So in between the last video and this one, you guys actually mailed me a lot of stuff on my character, different random enchants and stuff like that, so I can make different builds. And I double checked my last video. I didn't ask for anything. So it's just by lieu of the fact that I haven't changed my name yet, so I'm actually sticking to a character that you guys know, and a lot of you guys just decided to try to help me out. I just wanted to give a collective thank you to all of you that have done that, and also say that I'm going to end up with a lot of extra enchants that you guys sent me, so I am going to end up just giving them back. Alright, my idea at the moment is to actually take as many of these enchants as I can, actually literally all of them that I can, and just put them on my character because it's all account wide now. So if I make a new guy, he has all the same enchants that this guy has. I've got a lot so far, guys. A bunch of the new ones. Almost all of them, in fact. There's a bunch of builds as a result that we can try. Hydromancer is a big one that I've got recommended to me. Windrager is apparently super strong with Titan's Grip. Of course, we know Dark Surgeon's really fun. I also really wanted to try the one that gives me an Ice Prism. Here it is, Snowblind. I just love the word prism, and I like prisms. Is that weird? So I just want to make an Ice Prism build. But I'm going to keep reforging, getting those extracts, getting all these enchants. And what I'm going to actually do is, when I'm done, we're going to have a bunch of leftover enchants. I don't feel morally right selling all of them because they were given to me with the intent of being used. So what I would like to do is, if you guys, once I'm done and I can show you all of them, if you need any of these and you leave a comment in the comment section below, just let me know your in-game name and what enchant you want, and if I still have it, I will mail it your way. So there you go. That's a good way to give back a little bit, I think. All right, guys, that is the whole shebang. I have so many legendary enchants, epic enchants, just enchants in general now. Level 69 on my altar, and I've only got 30 runes left. I had over 400 at one point, and I just kept going. So we're good. So basically everything I have in my inventory, I'm going to give to somebody for free until people stop asking me. So if you need any of these, again, I already told you how to do it. Snowblind, Spell Shredder, Arcane Gunslinger, a bunch of Templar of Flame, Firewatch is in there somewhere, Cauterizing Flames if you want to be an overpowered sword fire guy. Hydromancer if you want to be a water mage. Let's see, what else? White Walker if you want to be some kind of, you know, snow ice hybrid. And let's see, is there anything? Astral Bomber, that's pretty cool as well. Relentless for a pretty cool tank spec. Oh, and Thunder Slam itself. So there's a bunch of stuff, and yeah, I'll just be giving it out to people as you guys let me know in the comment section. Now, one thing I was thinking about, I don't really know how important my expertise cap is in PvP, but I was expertise capped for PvE, and so that's kind of like a carryover. I think I need to be hit capped 100% though. I can't really fit it very efficiently with these talents, and that's the problem. Everything I could take out for it just makes you feel like you shouldn't be playing the build anyway if you don't have them. And so it's a little wonky. I do have the improved Storm Strike, right? And that's of course pretty good to have now. 20% of my base mana every time I Lightning Blade, and that's the main one I think I'm going to be going for when I'm not pumping AoE. It also just opens up an ability for me to get mana back, something I desperately needed. I also want to point out the random enchants I'm using. These are not set in stone, but I think they're pretty much where they need to be. I'm using Weapon Command, but this is one of the ones I'm really iffy on. If I have a two-handed weapon, I get 10 expertise, 10% melee speed. That's a weird one, but Thunder and Lightning is for sure what I want. This combined with Static Shock is currently giving me 9 times 3, so that's 27% increased Thunderclap damage as long as I have maximum stacks, and this is what reduces Thunderclap's cooldown by 2 more seconds, making it truly spammable. I've got my Mental Quickness for an extra, let's see, 12% more on the Mental Quickness talent, so that means I'm getting 32% of my melee attack power is bonus spell damage. 64% though, because my primary stat is agility, so that's pretty good. And Crackling Thunder, which we've talked about in many videos, is putting lightning on the ground on clap. That's pretty good as well. Thunderstruck though, that's a big one. 15% more bonus spell damage applied to my thunderclaps in PvP, or 24% if it's PvE, and that's really nice as well. And so I think this is basically where I want to be. I've got Voodoo Power for the same concept, by the way. This is actually going to give me 20% of my bonus spell damage and put it towards Lightning Blade. If I put all of my buffs on, by the way, I'm talking every AP buff I can get. I'm at 1345 now with the way I've changed this up. I have actually gone into Hunter versus Wild to double down on this, and I've got 807 bonus damage. 20% of that is about 163 or something like that, so I'm getting 163 extra damage on the blade. That's not a joke. With that being said, 15% more into my Thunderclap is giving me about 100 more, so like 100 extra damage on the clap. Because these are my main spells, I think that's good. Where I'm weak is my instant chain lightnings and lightning bolts. That's my weakest bit. And you could say I should go into one of the new talents that's increasing crit damage, but I don't really have the talents for it. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. I want to try the build out some more though, so I'm going to keep queuing and we'll see what happens.
Low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range, cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go.
Alright guys, so I'm going to be trying something a little bit different. Number 1, I'm going to go back to the Thunderstorm over the Divine Protection. Number 2, I'm going to try no Bleed Synergy, no Deep Wounds, no Blood Frenzy, and instead, I'm going to go for one of the brand new Critical Strike damage increase spell buffs, or talents I should say. This one is the Vengeance talent in the Druid tree. This increases my crit damage by 100%, and the capstone bonus says when I crit with my Chain Lightning or Lightning Bolt, I get something called a Vengeful Soul. This increases my spell damage by another 8% for 12 seconds. But when the 12 seconds ends, I get 10% of my missing mana. This knocks out 32 birds with 1 stone, right? I mean, what I'm trying to say is it does a lot of things, more than 2, right? It's doing a lot of things I need. It's giving me mana, it's giving me damage, and it's doing more damage as a result of the critical strike damage buff. I mean, it's just very, very solid, and it just happens to affect nature crits, which is exactly what I am. If any of these new buffs or talents are going to be good for this build, it's going to be this one. So I thought, yeah, might as well give it a try. And I'm also definitely going to be doing an Eye of the Storm or an Arathi Basin, because I want to do some more Thunderstorm action. It's just too fun. I can't give it up. Anyway, guys, gonna be a little bit of a shorter video this time. All PvP. Don't think we have to try it in a dungeon. I think we get it. This is a good PvP build. Plenty of really, really bonkers builds out there right now, and almost all of them are casters. It's definitely World of Caster right now in League 3. So pick up the caster builds, especially the fire ones, maybe a holy one, right? And just be a god. But if you enjoyed the Thunder Slammer, make sure to give the video a like and to subscribe. I really enjoy doing this, making builds along the way, coming up with something fresh, reverse engineering some stuff and making builds my own. So if you guys like that stuff, let me know in the comment section below. But anyway, I fall for trolls a lot. I think it's my own fault. Obviously, I shouldn't pay any attention to anything negative most of the time, but you can also grow from the genuine stuff out there. That's the problem. You have to sift through the horrendous and the uneducated and the ignorant to get to the criticisms that might not be things you want to hear, but are still really good to hear. But I did hear one thing randomly in Orgrimmar literally 10 minutes ago. A bunch of nice people, but then there's one dude who's like, Mcdoubles the build stealer. I'm like, when have I? Does anybody think my builds are good enough to where I have to steal them from another dude? Because like I just make up my stuff along the way, and every time I reverse engineer and use somebody else's, which is almost never, but when I do, I show it. That's what's so crazy to me. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to put that at the very end of this video, just make that clear in case anybody out there actually thinks garbage like that. They're not even worthy of copying from someone else. I make them myself. I don't know. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Mcdoubles out.